invitations issued as well, you would expect a very talented field of players, each trying to contest their share of a $1 billion purse, up $100 million the prize money this season, as we continue to see increased investment and attention in the KLPGA Tour. My name is Adam Jenkins. It is a treat, as always, to be wearing the headset and sat in the broadcast booth with you for another 4 days on the KLPGA Tour. Our first glances at the players that, of course, we will be keeping the closest eye on throughout this weekend, though it is worth noting that a lot of our leaders, at least as it's currently constituted, are playing on the back nine on the lake course, which is typically where our field will go out on the front. The score to beat at the moment is 6 under par. That is held by Che Gabin. And a glance at the last few flags that have come across our screen, and a look out on the horizon here on Jeju tells us that it's a bit of a windy day, 17 degrees Celsius, mostly overcast skies, and a 3.2 meter per second wind, which works out to be about a steady 11, 12 kilometer an hour breeze. This is Hung Yu Min, who is 1 under after 11, teeing off on the par 3. It's the shorter of the two par 3s on the Pine course, with a pin placement today over on the back right corner of the green. Depth-wise, she's pretty much right on and up the hill for a mostly level putt back towards the flag. And now this is Im Jin Young at 3 under par. She is on the 6th. One of those players on the lake course with only 3 or 4 holes remaining and making a surge towards the top. Kim In-sol at -2. So teeing off into the wind and up the hill, she does find the back right corner. And Che Gabin, aforementioned leader at 6 under. 2 strokes on this par 5, leaving her with a little wedge shot. A very, very front located pin. 5 yards off the front and 4 yards from the right edge. She has to work that back to her right and gets that to stop within a meter or so, as she will look to putt for 7 under par. Gi. She goes right at the flag, closest to the pin with a brave and well executed tee shot. So this S-Oil Championship, one of the things that has made it so unique and draws so much attention is the Olympic theme. You'll see a lot of holes inspired by flags. For example, 12, we saw the German flag at the tee in the Lederhosen. Malaysian Jeju course is, well, regardless of the time of year, even now, in the final few days of October, always provides a treat. We've got mascots, we've got torches, everything to make you feel like maybe it's Pyeongchang Olympics again, maybe without the snow. It's a 532 meter par 5. Hole number 1, which is hole number 10 for that group. Some left to right break and downhill as Che Gabin looks to build upon her advantage. Starts off in a hurry and didn't quite build in enough wiggle room to the inside of the flag to allow for a mistake, so that's good news for the rest of the chasing fields. Yuhyun Jo shot 36 on the way out. She tees off next at even. You have 41 of the 96 under par. Additional 20 who've been able to go 2 under or better, just as Im Jin Young has done. Enough break to make her unsettled, but close enough that she should feel as though she can make this. And make this she does. Starting with a bogey, but since then she's picked up 5 birdies and is now 2 back, tied for second. Hung-Shin Shiel, 37 on the way out for her. 3rd in the points and 4th in the money list through 29 events of the year. After this week, we will only have the Tabo Hausti Championship, and it's just a 3-round affair, so this is the last full 72-hole competition of 2025. So there's the tap-in for the par, and we turn our attention back to the fairway, this time at 11 with Pak Jun. Only a pitching wedge, though she doesn't look thrilled with how she struck that ball. Her weight was spot on. Well, next up is Lee Dae-yeon. Long uphill putt. She's read this well. Perhaps just a bit too much speed. One of her superpowers this season, certainly how she's played the par 3s, where she has the 3rd best scoring average on tour. Kim Min-sun 7 next to approach at 11. And does so very well. And putting into the crosswind, EA1. She's at risk of falling out of the top 5 in the money and points lists. She would be the next to crack the 1 billion won threshold for this season with a good performance here this week. 988 million won, trailing only Hung-Shin Shiel, Yuhyun Jo, No Seung-hee, and Hong Jung-min. Lee Dae-yeon. Well, she goes closest to the pin in the group. She needs that birdie to return to even. And next will be Ko Chi-woo. She gets a nice little roll on the front left corner of the green. Wind helping her clear the sand as well. Lee Dae-yeon to try to avoid a bogey. That's a nice par putt. Hung Min the opposite corner of the green. It's a long putt. She tries to set up her par. And no Sungi. 7-iron for her, 144. Our first look at the 10th. You can see the sand trap off to the left. You can see the camera tower just to its right. And that sliver of yellow beside it is the pin. Heads into the corner. We'll have a roll onto the fringe, right to the border of the fairway, and in fact right on it. So she'll have the option to putt or chip. Soul next. From our perspective, this will start well to the right before moving back in. Good weight. Just catches the outside lip. And Punchin Shield. Won't quite have the carry despite the wind's best efforts to rise the hill. Into the breeze, good putt. Kangayal with 3 birdies on the back, 5 altogether on the day. It's a 70 to open this tournament. And Yu Hyun Jo. Her approach coming up next, right at the pin, within 15 centimeters of hitting the flag. It's a nice brave up. She can certainly be satisfied with that. Chanengi for birdie, 2 under, not quite. Im Jin Young for 5 under. This would be within 1. Certainly a close call. And she'll settle for a par to keep herself tied for second. And a downhill effort that catches a piece of the cup as well. But speed was too heavy on this particular occasion. Now Kim Sun 7. Way too light. Doesn't have enough to hike towards the summit. That's a nice finish. Can be a range from which it's easy to slip up. She's done well. Now we got Young to return to even par. Not gonna cut it. And Pengxin Shields, same boat. Gets herself set. Good one. Simple par, but a part she had to have. Now no Sungi. Choosing to putt down from the fairway. Give herself quite the breathing room to the right. Takes it past the pin before curling back in on the line. Chugain. This is going to be a really tricky putt. You can see from our zoomed out angle the difference down the little lip into the bowl of the front left corner of the green. Has to really trust. That's more than a passing grade, I'd think. Now Yu Hyun Jo for 1 under par. Too much right to left break. Two putts gets her there. Deceptively tricky for Pak Bo-gyam down the hill. Think this would move a little right to left. Nicely done. Punching shield. No, that's not going to cut it. Over to 13. She'll be able to feel confident, pardon me, as she looks at the birdie. Punching shield, unfortunately, will be relinquishing another stroke here. This approach just a little beyond the flag, most of the way up the hill. Pin high, a perfectly weighted approach shot. All three members of the group all in that little gaggle to the right of the flag. Now Sung Jean. She's +2 after 9 holes. A little less club, and she's probably worried about not quite reaching the green, so she'll settle with that. Group is away. Strong drive to wrap up the threesome here. Rolling all the way through the green and back into the hillside rough. And a putt for birdie at the 13th. Gonna be a lot of break and a lot of slope change. This is looking really good. That's gonna fall. An early contender for the putt of the day. Just the second birdie of the round for Chunungi. What a golf shot that is. No, Kim Sun's 7. 4 back at the minute. See her caddy dropping down as if to say, hang on. Well, the putt does exactly that. She's knocking on the door of the top 10 now. Kim Soul for birdie. Break here will be left to right. It's gonna move pretty quick. Too much power. I think she was expecting more of the uphill slope to have an impact, and it doesn't. Another putt that's just not quite on it. Hoping for better here for Hung Yumin as she looks for 2 under. Chun Sung-yi, pardon me, had a 35 on her way out. There's always going to be a setup putt that. No Sungi, her drive at 11 was off the right and into the rough. Recovers well, doesn't quite reach the green, but is in a decent spot overlooking the pin. Che Bun +4, tough, very tough opening 9 holes to the tournament. Navigating that tailwind quite well, knowing she needs to take just a little bit off. She ends up pin high right beside the flag. And a bit too much to the left. Fading that in the approach. She rolls down the fringe and will likely want to chip or pitch that. And now the tee shot at the par 3 over the water, into the wind, and right in line of the flag. Lots of great hiking, heck, some parasailing, and of course, just an opportunity to enjoy the nature in one of the natural playgrounds of this nation. A picture postcard look out into the distance. I bet you if you got your binoculars out from the summit there, you might be able to just spot some of this S-Oil Championship. On the 8th green, look how much break there is for Im Jin Young. She does really well, all things considered. Well, the supporters knew right away that she was in for a good one. More than satisfactory outcome. And Chegabin, for a second hole in a row, our leader is unable to further add to her advantage. And Sung-yi, from there, was simply a tap-in par. She finishes the opener at 4 under and had quite the day, including an eagle on the front 9. Oh, skipping off the outside edge of the cup. She did really well from off the green. Sung-yi does indeed to go for the wedge. She didn't quite catch that as sweetly as she would have wanted. She knows she has a bit of work to do yet. And now Kim Min-sun 7 for the birdie at 13. Left to right braking. The break starts a bit too late. Shin Shields standing up and watching that break very, very quickly. Another close call. Just fighting it a little bit at the moment, it feels. So no swinging suffers the consequences. It is an unforgiving course at times, this Elysian Chechu. Putters continue to prove to be fickle. That's another tap in par. Now Yuhyun Jo. But to take her under par here at 11. Slightly downhill. Won't need much in the way of speed. Nicely done. Got her first birdie at the 6th. Bogeyed 8. Birdies here at 11. And we'll try to build on that. Changi across the width of the green. Gets about a little more than 2/3 of the way back. Kochi 1 here at 16. Little deeper than pin high. To the gently blowing flag. She'll have that left for birdie, just as Lee Dae-yeon has significantly less left for a par. It's going to move right to left, at least in terms of how we look at the break. And she has it there. So a tee shot that takes her 3 or 4 yards into the rough. Im Jin Young at 141 meters. More than enough club to reach the green. Just roll that through pin high and end up, not sure if that's a divot or some piece of debris, but otherwise it actually helps keep her further away from that upslope. So far has been able to stay close. After 45 minutes, things are looking a whole lot differently than they were when we began our broadcast. Che Gabin remains our leader, though she has just one hole remaining, is in a bit of a lull right now with a couple of back-to-back pars. Lee Ji-hyun 3, Han Chi 1, and Kim Soo-ji. Kim Soo-ji, who was the runner-up last year, falling in a two-hole playoff to Mata Som, is once again right near the top places. We'll take a quick break and come back on the other side with more at Malaysian Jeju, this S-Oil Championship 2025.
혹성 조금 있어. 반반 정도? 반반.
And welcome back.
Okay.
We are here at Elysian. Fantastic facility that is often a regular feature on the KLPGA Tour. not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last time today. We see the arrival at the greens so far left. Kim Min Sol, she was deep in the rough and shows an incredible bit of touch. Short game absolutely on it. It's a brave one, and it's a good one. Undaunted by the wind, No Suni goes right at the flag and is rewarded for it. Well, there are 4 36-hole. Pardon me, 4 courses to combine the 36 holes of this Elysian Jeju facility. We are on the lake course on the way out. The front 9, the back 9 is the Pine. Tenengi, that is a par for her here. And now Pacquiao, 123, her setup shot on her final hole of the round. A birdie moves her within 1. That's an excellent putt. Same Jin Young was likely hopeful of a birdie, and she in fact gets it to chalk off that mistake she had 1 hole prior. It is a 68 after 18 holes today. Sporter's doing my job for me. Good shot indeed. Just a little bit of landscaping to take care of before she can start to really think about her birdie. That's what Che Gabin's thinking of. It's her last hole of the day, and our leader has 1 more for the road. Bogey free and a torrid 31 on the way out. 2 more pickups at 3 and 9. Che Gabin has the lead as she's the first to hit the clubhouse. Can't strike a ball much better than that. 4 meters at the very most is what's separating her from a birdie. Bungshin Shil, she was out in the sand. Certainly has struggled to open this tournament. And Pacquiao Left to right breaking to start. She was hoping it would straighten out, but it does not. And Yu-Hyun Jo. Birdie would be a bonus, trying to set up her par. And Pang Min-ji. Birdie at 18. Quiet front nine, relatively speaking, but 4 birdies in the final 6 holes of the day. She runs up the leaderboard late on Thursday. Bang Shin-sil, it's one more tap to finish it off. Up and down out of the sand she goes. Pacquiao, an unfortunate bogey to end the round just as she had ended the front nine. Andy Dayan. Leader is now at 7 under, so this would move her to within 2 strokes once again. She rolls in that birdie. 1, 2, 3, 7, and 13 now. It's been a fantastic start to this tournament for her. And the supporters were hoping for a little more carry. So was the player that struck the ball. But that approach has plunked into the sand, and she'll be hoping it's not too buried. Now Kim Min-sol at 134 meters, this approach from the fairway. Hung-min Jung, +4 after 17. She's 110 out. The approach at the last. She too fighting that wind a little bit. Short changes it and ends up in the bunker. Swinging now through 13 holes. We're now through 12 on the 13th, teeing off and starting well. And 2 of 3. Able to find the green. It's pretty good up and down. So this 13th hole is taking its inspiration from the beautiful Nordic country of Finland. Yu-Hyun Jo skirts the left side of the fairway, should be safely on. Gives you a pretty good indication of just how rolling that fairway is. As we enter the 4 o'clock hour, Jae Gabin officially in the clubhouse with her 65, and Kim Soo-ji one stroke back, pardon me, with 2 holes to play. Lee Ji-hyun 3, Han Chi-won, Lee Dae-yeon all tied for third at 5 under. Lee Dae-yeon bogey free and still has a handful of holes to try to catch or surpass Jae Gabin. Im Jin-young, Park Bo-gyam, they are amongst those tied for 6th, and Bang Min-ji just finishing with her 69 to sit inside of the top 15 at 3 under par. Well, officially kicking off this second hour of coverage of the opening round the 2025 S Oil Championship. A couple of shots from off the green, including this from Hungmin Jeong. Blast that up from the sand. She was right up on that incline. Tricky to get it up and down, of course, and she ends up about 10 meters beyond the flag. Yuhyun Jo, after her tee shot at 13, is left with 117, playing the pitching wedge. Good amount of backspin, keeps her pretty much exactly where she arrived on the green. But with lots of left to right break. Needed to get up the hill as well, so she couldn't be soft on the putt. No guarantees on that par either. Hungmin Jeong at +4, trying to avoid one last bogey on the round today. Has to make this putt to save the par. Despite a good try, doesn't have the legs to get all the way there. So that'll be tied for 90th out of 96. We'll be hoping for a bounce back tomorrow. No Seung-hee, she has been caught and surpassed by Hong Jung-min in the money list. She is second in that race with 2 rounds to go, or 2 tournaments to go, that is. Trailing by nearly 15 million won, which is not insurmountable. Jungmin 2 under through 13, tied for 21st so far. Long breaking left to right putts. Does not find pay dirt. Janengi has played some fabulous golf so far today and is rightfully near the top of the list. Little rise up towards the hole. It's very nearly there. It's 2 putts for Kim Na-young. Bogey, bogey, double bogey in the final 4 holes on the way out. But even on the back 9, she was able to reset well. No Seung-hee putting for birdie at the 13th with a lot of curve, certainly at the end of that putt. Kim Woo-jung. Solid finish. Birdies at 13, 14, and 17. It is a 70 in the opening round. Not enough legs on the first putt. It's 2 to conclude the hole. Kim Min-sol teeing off on the final par 3 of her round, 168. It is the longest of the 4 par 3s that we'll play this week. She goes pin high confidently. She'll ends this tough run of hers with a 4th birdie, of the round. Tries to claw her way back to even. No Seung-hee. Simple finish, a par. Keeping herself very much in the mix. And Lee Dae-yeon, with the hybrid in hand, she's able to reach and then some. Here at 14, 501 meters this hole. 3 holes. Half a kilometer or more. Kim Soo-ji still waiting her turn at the 16th to finish and tried to catch Che Gabin. And she won Lee Ji-hyun 3 and Lee Dae-yeon still tied for 3rd. Im Jin-young, Park Bo-gyam, An Sung-hee all in the clubhouse with their 68. 3 back, tied for 6th position here at Elysian Jeju. Beautiful views anywhere you look here at Elysian. She has been one of the most exciting players on the day so far. Certainly this back nine has been very kind to Chanengi. Downhill putt that breezes past the pin. Kim Sun 7. This putt has a chance. That Callaway just stopping. Not even a full revolution short of the birdie. EPM 3 had a chance to move within one. It is a bogey-free 5 birdie round of 67. Okay, June. This is the green and this is it big time. Well, right up onto the hillside in the rough. Jaeun with a par to end the day. She had some hiccups on the back nine, including a double bogey and a bogey, but she is going to be satisfied with a top 10 finish for the day by the time everyone has come through and finished up their rounds. Next is Kim Seol for 4 under up the hill, and it'll go. Already starting to fall all over the course. This from Sogyo Reem. Birdies at 110, 14, and 18. It is a 4 under round to kickstart this tournament. Long putt back across what feels like the entire length of this green. It goes right on the line. Just a touch short, Idayan, from another birdie. Second shot at the par 5 from No Sung-hee. She advances down the fairway. And that one, just enough momentum off the putter of Sung-na. She goes back to back to back. Her birdies to end this opening round on a high note. Unable to dig that out fully from the rough. She clears the bunker, but is short of the green. Kim Ji-hyun back to back to back birdies as well for her to end the 3 under, tied for 15th. It's going to go all the way up the hill, not where she wanted to end that, certainly. Even a yard shorter, and she would have probably been able to return to pin high. Says it all. Didn't quite come off the driver the way she needed it to. It's a very wide green. We've seen that a few times already today. The pin hidden by the trees on the dogleg. Now No Sung-hee, her third. Very, very good. Two fantastic shots to eat up a lot of the distance on this hole, and from there, it's a simple up and down for her birdie. This is anything but simple for Han Chi-won. Needs to come down the hill. Only a couple of feet left for par. Nearly in the water. Her left foot on the red spray-painted OB line. She avoids disaster off the tee, and then her approach heads all the way back to the fringe. And she won with her par. It's a 5 under 67 after 18 holes, 2 back. She's left with a couple of short feet for the par as we turn our attention over to 17 with Hung Yu Min, 123 over the sand in the first cut of rough. That's the first attempt. Similar situation on 17 for Kim Min Sol. Catching Che Gabin seems unlikely, but back-to-back birdies would give her outright second. Kim Soo-ji, 99 meters on 9. Her final hole of the round, last year's runner-up. Good bit of backspin. Stays on that front edge. Yukon Joe for an eagle would take a 20.2 meter putt. Fast off the face, she needed plenty of power. Good swing with that long distance seeking club. Does that ring a bell? Welcome back to 14. Pengxin Shil, the last to putt for eagle and the closest to getting it done. Little bit of break to the left at the very end of that long wedge. And you mean traded that out for putter with a few short feet remaining. Sung-Yi rewarded. Patience paying off. She plays this par 5 expertly. And now here at 17 from the fringe. A short one down the hill. A little bit longer, but down the hill still for Kim Min-sul here at 17. Just a bit too much break. Gave herself the room.
감사합니다.
So a couple putts to get her to the finish line. Let's go to 18 with Chung Yoon-ji. She has been a big feature in the past couple of tournaments. This is when spin can be a nightmare instead of a friend. She lands that, what, 5 yards, if that, past, but then zips back and runs down the border of the green. Now from off the green, hoping for a bit more momentum coming through from the hillsides. Great approach, pin high. 5 yards, 6 yards at the most. And welcome back to 15. It is a 366-meter par 4. And Yoo Hyun-jo has her driver in hand, ready to begin. To say it's been a good year for her would be an understatement. She is our points leader, and she is comfortably in front of even Hong Jung-min. 658 she has racked up this year. And I don't say this in a disparaging way, but she's done that despite only winning once, which is an incredible accomplishment. 3 times a runner-up, 3 times third place. But of the 27 events she's played, she's made 25 cuts, and from those 25 cuts, she's had 18 top 10 finishes. Incredible year. Puckett June, this is coming downhill, moves the opposite direction, breaking right to left. So final short putt for the par as we return to Idayan doing a little landscaping before she plays her putt. She has been absolutely laser focused from hole 1. This is the first time today we've seen her have some struggles. She missed right and was in the hillside rough. The recovery shot was short, so now she needs this to remain bogey free. She's expecting this to move a little left to right. And she loops around. The break was there. The speed was too powerful. Kicks out the back and drops to 5 under. Kim In-sun 7. That putt stays way too straight. Time for a break. Before we get there, look at the leaderboard as we currently sit. Che Gabin's advantage remains at 1. Kim Soo-ji is on her 18th and final hole, trying to catch her. And she won Lee Ji-hyun 3, Lee Dae-yeon, all at 5 under. But now some company from Moon Jung-min through 15 holes, playing on the front 9. As we near the end of hour number 2 of this opening round of the 2025 S-Oil Championship. And to go right back to work, Yu Hyun Jo. We mentioned briefly her incredible point total, which she's still trying to look to add to. Some context. When Peng Min-ji won 6 times back in 2021, she only finished with 680 points. Kim Soo-ji has the best point haul of the decade with an improbable 760 back in 2022. She's a runner-up last year, and she is always a difficult out, especially when she finds a course on which she's had so much success. Hasn't won yet in 2025, Kim Soo-ji. In fact, hasn't reached the podium yet this season. No Sung-hee's next approach also heads to the back left corner at 15. Tee shot for Ida Yeon, trying to bounce back from her first bogey of the day. And Kim Soo-ji, a very good round. 34 out, 32 in. One back of the leader after 18 holes. Close call. Can't get much closer than that, can you?
나이스 파! 황진씨! 화이팅! 화이팅!
On 18, Janengi into the wind with a really aggressive pin placement. The opening round right over the sand at 18. A little bit closer than the first on the green, but still about 9 yards past the pin. And we were just talking about aggressive pin placement. Hang Min said, I fancy my chances, but she ends up in the bunker. Well, time to putt. It's Yu-Hyun Jo at the 15th. This is going to break hard right. There it goes. Nice judgment. Two for three in terms of the approaches at 18.
그러니까 아니에요. 이거
Dayan with the first swing leaves herself with a little more than 2 feet.
자, 엄마 차 바꿔주자. 자, 들어가자.
Almost an identical stroke. It could have been a replay. And Kim In-sun's 7. That was the look at birdie. Triumphant birdie putt that delights the supporters. Well, something catching Choyon's attention in her backswing. It's a quick reset. Tricky lie as she was in the rough. She had to really smash that to even get it up through the fairway. That'll roll onto the green, mid-right up the hill. Now Hung Yu Min from the bunker at 18. She didn't catch that as well as she'd like. Again, it's not only being in the sand, but it's how close you are to the pin to get up and down inside of 3 or 4 meters from there is a Herculean task. This is Hyun Se-rin. It is 18 for her, but she's playing on hole number 9. And joins her partner up on the fringe. Gi, she had her flash in the pan few holes. She has cooled off slightly since. She'll putt out for a 71 today, just ensuring she's in nobody's line and she's able to take care of business. Birdies at 1 and 13, bogey 17, and 15 pars today for a great. A remarkable 9-time winner and 3-time major champion, Gi. Turned pro 13 years ago, back in 2012. No Sungi, tee shot at 16 on the par 3. Say that's more than serviceable. She can certainly work with that.
저거 들어갈 수 있어.
Kim Min-sol is next. 6.8 meters for 5 under par. Oh, that looked good. It even straightened out at the right time. Starting it a bit too much to the right. She'll have to settle for the par. Now Kim Min-sun's 7. Well, the bogey, it will come from even further than where she had addressed the ball for the par. Very nice on in towards that front right corner. And just not quite enough. Trying to get up and down for a par. She misses the par putt, Hung Yoo-min. putters have collectively gone a little cold. It's a double bogey for Kim Min Sun's 7. It drops her all the way down to 1 under. Kim Min Sol 4 under par after 18 holes today. It's a very solid start to the tournament. Well, that takes us through 2 hours here at Elysian. Che Gabin's lead remains safe, and with more of the chasing pack coming through to the end of their rounds, it looks as though that will continue to be the case. Closest challengers are Lee Dae-yeon on 16 and Moon Jung-min on the 16th hole of her round, but playing on the front. We'll continue to monitor their progress on the way in, as our coverage of the 2025 S-Oil Championship will continue after the break. And welcome back to Elysian. We're in the home stretch, certainly. And that is a look at a birdie that has gone missed. Choi Yon had a chance to return to an even par 72, but she settles for a par at the last, so it's +1 after 18 holes. Get going, says the caddy. And he knew wasn't quite struck firmly enough. And Serene playing that in from the fringe with a wedge. And it ends up about 4 yards past the pin. And Serene up and down for the par, 2 under. As she reaches the end of day 1, birdies at 11, 15, and 6, a bogey at 14, and all pars everywhere else on the scorecard today. No Sungi beginning hole number 17 with a big swing. Cuts that into the fairway. Jung Soo-yeon 125. She goes up and at the pin. What a fantastic approach that is. Could make that birdie blindfolded. A much tighter line as she goes around the water and has to avoid it a second time, but it trickles through the rough. That was a brave shot, but a very good one. Let's see how Pengxin Shil attacks this. Didn't want to mess with the water at all, did she? Well, she'll hope that this round today was the outlier in the rest of the week. That attempt carrying too much speed for me, Dayan. And a simple tap in. End of the round with on par, and we're shaking hands, pumping fists. Let's do both. Cover all the bases that way. Left to right, down into the cup. Dayan is there. Well, we are here for the 30th tournament of the 2025 season. A $1 billion purse. Total prize money on offer this week. 19th edition of the S-Oil Championship. The likes of Soyeon Yu, Inji John, Soyeon, pardon me, Shaninji and Jae Heijin over the years. Isomi also taking this event as well. It's certainly a feather in the cap. By Hongchung means very high standards. This has been at least a quiet start to the tournament. She's at 2 under, and her tee shot on the final par 3 has gone right onto the fringe. Those are the two players in a fierce battle with each other. The money and points list with 2 tournaments to go. No Sungi. It's gone well left. Maybe there's just a little bit of an imprint. It was looking as though it was going to start to roll back down towards the middle of the green. But she'll stay up on the left side. Two great shots in a row for Pang Shin-sil. Next up on the attack, and similarly slightly short. We'll take a Herculean effort for a par here at 17, or birdie here at 17, pardon me. Pars seem likely. Dayan away with a big swing. We're coming awfully close to the end of the day. In the opening round of 72 holes of stroke play golf for the S-Oil Championship 2025. No additional movement from Lee Dayan or Moon Jung-min as of yet. They are still tied for third at 5 under. We'll see how Hong Jung-min and her group as well, who will be there to conclude the round for us, fare. We're down to the last 3 holes on Jeju. Stay with us. And welcome back. That's No Sungi's bid for a birdie. It was left a little bit short. And the next up is Kim Min-sun's 7. Right of the green, she trickles that down. Slowly encroaching. Always felt like 2 putts. That is just about the worst thing you can see from that position. Idayan hoping that she doesn't deal with something similar in a few strokes' time. But she's got to get to the green first. There are 2 holes left for Bungxin Shield to try to return to even par. She's not going to get her birdie here at 17. Another short attempt. Now Hong Jung-min from off the right side of the green. That should set up a par. Kim Min-sun 7 now. Her 71st shot of the day, and she'll be hoping it's her last. She bit off a bit more than she could chew. Left to right breaking. It's a tap-in bogey. It's after a double bogey at 17, so disappointing end to an otherwise very solid day. She will certainly stew over those last 2 holes when she does her debrief of the round. Now Mata Sohm, the defending champion, with a birdie at 16. She has 4 of them today, with bogeys at 3 and 15 as well. Took a 2-hole playoff for her last year to be crowned as the champion. Now EA1, her final approach of the afternoon. Uh-oh. Short of the green, rolls through the rough and into the sand. There's no Sumi on the 18th tee, 508 meters. .112 meters from the 9th fairway for Moon Jung-min. And the next at 18. Ayan looking down towards the green. Where will she end up? She's safe as she goes a little deeper.
자.
A few centimeters left after the putt. Flags out, ball's in. It's a par. A clearer picture of how things will shape up after 18 holes. Idayan is through 17 and is still within 2. A birdie at the last could move her level with Kim Soo-ji for second. Page 2 is completely finalized from Sogyo Rim all the way down to Kim Shi-hyun's 68s and 69s aplenty, including Peng Min-ji, who had a great finish to her opening day here on Jeju. And we're getting right back to work. 4:35 local time on Jeju. It is Iso Young from the rough. It's a 125-meter approach. Hoping to end the round with a 68 beside her score. That, though, won't do her many favors. Skipping up the hill, and it's going to be a rather hopeful putt for birdie. Dayan didn't really see the break she was expecting. If anything, it moved right to left. Left to right breaking too much in the final few moments, so one more putt is required. It's a bogey for EA1. Started pretty well with a birdie at 1, another at the 6th, but ends exactly where she started today. Cutting that across. No Sungi to the right side of the fairway, setting up her approach shot. Pengxin Shield next at 18, 279. Really going for some extra power. Head to the right boundary of the fairway. Hang-Yun So flying a little bit under the radar today, but with that birdie at the last, she is in with a 70. No Sungi with the hybrids. This club can lead to great success or great disappointments. This is in the former category. It's one of the best we've seen. Onto the 18th green, pin high with a great shot at a birdie. Pengxin Shield, her thirds. Well, when you look at what No Sungi was able to do, you might feel as though it's possible to judge that a little bit more harshly, but that's better than average from what we have seen at 18. And that will bring Lee So-young to the end of the round. Stops the back-to-back bogeys. She was at 5 under just a few short holes ago, but finishes with a 69 today. That is absolutely brilliant. Even closer than No Sungi, and we wouldn't have thought that possible. That's really good as well at 9. Everyone saving their best for the end of the round. A little bit too much left to right break for Pengxin Shield to navigate. Strong second shot. And we'll go back to the 18th. No Sungi with the next to putt for birdie. Left to right breaking with a wind at her back. Didn't quite have the read. It's a par for her at the last, and a 70. It's a busy scorecard. Double bogey, lots of birdies. Jungmin gets one stroke closer to the end of her day. And it's a birdie. And thoroughly deserved. Yoo Hyun Jo with a marvelous setup. 3 birdies on the way in for a 33 and an even 36 on the way out for a 69 in the opening round. And Bung Shin Shil as her par. So 73, 2 double bogeys on the front nine, really putting her behind the 8 ball, but we know that past few years she has been one of the best at putting together 18-hole performances. Just needs to bounce back tomorrow, and could be a very different conversation heading into the weekend. Leaves us with just one group still out there. Jungmin, Lee Shu-ying, and Mata Som. And the last trios coming through the 9th hole. Jae Bun. This is for a 75. Downhill with a little right to left break, but not enough of it. Lee Shu-ying with a dazzling shot. It's one of the best we've seen at 18 all day long. Getting deeper into the afternoon, the early evening, and the jackets are starting to come out as the sun dips further beneath the clouds. 94 meters for Hong Jungmin, skips through the fringe. Birdie seems unlikely, but we've seen her make some pretty big putts the last month.
나이스. 아이야. 짜짜짜짜짜. 이야.
Well, the torch has been lit, and it will remain as such 3 more days. Just because the 18 holes are done doesn't mean the prep and the practice comes to an end.
저기 안 들어갔어.
It's a tricky course, this Elysian Jeju. You can steal a stroke or two. With your putter, it could really bode well. Not surprised to see the practice green full. The weather here is so difficult, it's variable. You'll have no winds for an hour and then it'll be gusting like crazy. And when the wind is strong, as Matt Desholm reminded us before the week began, when the wind is strong, the course feels narrow and long. She even said, I think putting will be the deciding factor. Chun Ji, the only player in this tournament's now 19-year history to win this tournament in back-to-back years. Matt Desholm would very much like to change that. First attempt at a birdie belongs to Hong Jung-min. And it's uphill, left to right braking. Didn't bring the speed. Chung Sung-yi, after a double bogey at the 8th, she recovers for a par to finish the round with a 72. And Matt Desholm from the border of the fringe couldn't solve that break. Well, what a week it was for Yi Shu-ying, the 22-year-old. She became the first Chinese national to win the Gwangnam Happiness Open last week. Said it's a dream come true. I'm dealing with a bit of a cold, so I'm not in a perfect condition to enter the tournament, but I'll play with a smile and not be greedy this week. Last week's winner with a tough start, at least, to this tournament. Bogey to begin, a double at 14, birdies at 10, 11, and here at 18, over par at the end of the first round. Two of the CJ teammates, Shi and Hong Jung-min, developing quite the bond over the 2025 season in particular. And Mata Som, it is a 2-under score to begin her title defense, tied for 24th, as she finishes with a par. Let's take a look back at the best moments of this opening round. The 19th S-Oil Championship getting underway when the sun was out this morning, long before the long sleeves and jackets were needed. 18, at times very kind, at times very cruel. This certainly is in the former category. Group that had produced some of the top scores of the opening round. Birdie at 18. Final hole of the lake course would see the likes of Han Chi-won, Lee Ji-hyun 3, and Lee Dae-yeon all find great success at times. Chang Soo-yeon, we saw lots of Lee Dae-yeon in our 3 hours on the course. That was the first to 6 under. And Jae-ga-bin would have one more in store. 7 under, a bogey-free round to sit at the top after 18 holes. We'll go to 18 again. At the point at which she struck this putt, and a good putt it was, just outside of the top 10, but a fairly quiet day punctuated with 4 birdies for an opening round 68. Here's Lee Dae-yeon, as promised. The second shot at 14. She went for the hole in 2. She is certainly a power player. She'd have a significant putt for an eagle, but more importantly, opportunity to find 2 putts and a birdie. She would go up to 6 under par, back-to-back, 5 birdies through the first 14 holes of the day. Now, that was not sustainable. In fact, she would drop towards the end of the round, but perhaps that's for a little later in this highlight pack. First, we want to talk about this putt, because it had been an opportunity to improve to 6 under and catch Kim Soo-ji. For Han Chi-won, she'd have to settle for the par. Just 1 bogey came at the first hole of her round, and 6 birdies from there. There's a lengthy look at the 18th, but for Kim Soo-ji, a little more than a tap-in for her par and a 66 on the day, with just the 1 bogey coming at 15. So here's how things look after round 1 of 4 on Jeju. It is Jae-ga-bin with a 1-stroke advantage from Kim Soo-ji, and then a handful of players Han Chi-won, Moon Jung-min, Lee Ji-hyun 3, Lee Da-yeon, and Chung Soo-yeon tied for third, all at 5 under. Ko Chi-won into the top 10 with a 68 today. She shares that score with an additional 5 players whose name you'll see now. Page 2 of the leaderboard. So Gyo-rim, Kim Min-sol, Im Jin-young, Park Bo-gyam, and An Song-hee. Tied for 14th, well, that is a pretty long list as well. 10 players, in fact, carding a 69 in this opening round. So 96 players entering this 19th S-Oil Championship, and we are through 18 of our 72 holes of the week. We'll say goodbye today, but we will welcome you back, tomorrow at the exact same time to do it all over again at beautiful Malaysian Jeju. For all of us with the KLPGA Tour, my name's been Adam Jenkins. See you tomorrow for more at the S-Oil Championship.